Do you like newer and vintage Hot Wheels, Matchbox, and other small die-cast cars? That's cool because I do too. You've landed on YouTube's newest channel dedicated to these little cars. So first up is this blue Mercedes 450 SEL. It's from 1979 and it's a Lesney Matchbox. And again, this is one of the 8 cars that I had preserved in a special sock when I had packed them up as a teenager so they wouldn't get messed up in our moves. And this was actually voted the number 7 favorite out of that initial group of 8. I actually thought it would be higher, but it is what it is. People clearly like the newer ones better. But anyway, this is number 56C in the Super Fast series from Matchbox. It's sitting on the standard Matchbox wheels of the day. This is what they used day in and day out. They didn't have a lot of special, features and stuff like that back then, but they work on this. They're not too small and they almost have an oversized vibe. It's a very substantial look. My favorite features of this Matchbox are the functional hook. There are a lot of different RVs and trailer attachments that you can put on these. I love the opening doors. It's really nice. Nice feature of the cars that you don't see very much anymore. And then again, the substantial stance. So now let's give it some grades and ultimately build an overall TIMScore. And we're going to start with uniqueness. So when I'm talking uniqueness, I'm talking about things like its potential collectability, its perceived rarity, its age, any licensing tie-ins with pop culture. And with this particular Mercedes, there are only 5 variants. And from what I can tell, just one came to the US and the others being country specific in Germany, Bulgaria, and other Middle European countries that used them for like taxis and police versions in beige, gold, and green and white. It's an under-the-radar car, and I remember seeing them pretty frequently on my friends' collections growing up, but their visibility has really dropped off. Online shops for these sell for $70 mint and $16 for open models. So for that, I'm giving this a unique score of 8. So next, let's talk about how well the car is presented. Things like attention to detail, rubber wheels, doors that open, special features or attachments, or is it a blob on 4 wheels? And how much thought and effort was put into it to either make it a true-to-life car or make it really extra special. So with this Mercedes, again, metal body, metal bottom, again, made by Lesney, so it has a really good attention to detail and really well engineered. The embossed rear view mirror and windshield wipers on the windshield. The wraparound bumpers, you can see, get a little bit closer, see how the bumpers wrap around. That's a nice feature. Grooves for the front grille, grooves for the tail lights. For the era that this car was produced, Matchbox did everything right. They don't appear to be skimping on any details and features on this. I'm giving it a presentation value of 9. I have always absolutely loved this specific Matchbox. I almost always picked it when I was playing cars with my brother and friends growing up. It just strikes a chord with me. It's an unapologetic replication of a true Mercedes without going into a lot of extra craziness around paint jobs or wheels or anything like that. For that reason, I'm giving it a nostalgia factor of 9. Despite this car not scoring high from the favorites, from a favorites viewpoint from the viewers, I again really like it as the scores attest to. So grades 8, 9, and 9 result in an overall TIMScore of 8.7. This to me is the benchmark for which I will judge the rest of my car collection. Overall TIMScore of 8.7. So next up today is this Mercedes-Benz 380 SEL. It's number 3261 and it hit the stores right as the real-life new S-Class body style was hitting the streets back in 81, 82. So this body style was current for a long time and the shapes and the lines were amazing then and they really stood the test of time in a nice way. My favorite features about this particular Hot Wheel are the 80s and 90s Speed Fleet wheels. I love the dog in the back seat. If you can see through the glass, there we go. And the molded rear view mirror. That's a nice feature. So though I really liked it growing up, there's just simply a ton of these pretty much everywhere, even to this day. I counted no less than 24 iterations of this model by Hot Wheels during its run in the 80s and the 90s. To illustrate, you can buy these things still new in the package, mint condition, for less than $5 on the web. But what, again, makes this particular model really fresh and appealing today is its simple white color, its non-standard wheel design. So I'm giving it a uniqueness score of 4. Next, let's talk about presentation value. So by the time Hot Wheels had released this model as part of the Speed Fleet series in the 1988-89 year, Hot Wheels had been producing it already for 8 years. It does have a metal bottom, which is a nice touch, and the dog in the back seat was a nice feature. It does have a plastic chrome grille. It's nicely done though. And it also has, again, with that molded mirror in the die cast, that was pretty nice. However, it does come across as, just less of a car when compared to that blue Mercedes Matchbox by Lesney. It's narrower, it has less details, has no extra features like opening doors or a functional hook or anything like that. So for those reasons, I'm giving it a 5 for presentation value. Okay, nostalgia. Now be honest. Okay, so let's talk about nostalgia. No doubt about it, this car screams Miami Vice, Dallas, and any of the 80s opulence right during my most influential childhood years. I love the fresh color combo with the smooth special rims. I can still picture myself driving one like this, like I used to when I was a real small kid playing for that reason. For that reason, I'm giving it a nostalgia score of a 6. So grades 4, 5, and 6 result in an overall TIMScore of 5. Now I do have at least a couple of other iterations of this 380 SEL that I'll be grading in the future, including the inaugural silver over black version. So we're going to see how this score holds up against those. Tell me what you think.